You can chase the accolades, the money, and the corporate success to the absolute peak of your career, but at what cost? In this episode, I'm going to share why George Clooney's movie, Jay Kelly, should be absolute required viewing for every senior leader who is currently trading their time and family's attention for a corporate machine that takes everything back. Anyway, let's get real and let's get you to optionality. Today's episode is sponsored by Billy Keels Advisory Services. If you want to learn more about how to make your 99 optional, just go to makeitoptional.com. Once again, that's makeitoptional.com.
Helping you build freedom without losing your edge. This is the Going Long podcast with Billy Keels.
In this episode, I'm going to do something a little bit different because I don't normally make strong recommendations, but today is one of those days where I'm just going to break a rule. The reason for that is I recently saw a movie, and I'm going to tell you, if you don't like spoilers, don't listen to this episode yet. Go check out the movie first. And I'm not going to I'm going to share something because I'm sharing some reflections. So I don't like spoilers. So I'm just going to tell you that right away. It has to do with George Clooney. It has to do with a movie that he was in recently called Jay Kelly. And I believe should be required viewing for anyone who is a corporate senior leader. Because I wish I would have seen this one before, because at least it helps you to be more aware of what's happening in life. And so let me just tell you why I believe this should be required reading for anyone, or viewing, required viewing for anyone who is a corporate senior leader, whether you're senior AE or if you're a director, VP, all this kind of stuff, right? I was relaxing on a Sunday afternoon. I was just really hanging out, chilling. It was really nice. But I decided it was time to watch something, or just to not do anything, just sit back and watch a movie. It's something that, I should probably do more of that. But hey, listen, wanted to watch something that was like kind of turn your brain off. I wasn't really sure what I was getting into. A couple actors that I saw, thought I'd like it. Well, here's the whole point. Like the reason that it should be required reading is because, or required viewing. I'll get this right by the end of the episode. But there's so many similarities between what I saw in this movie and also in life, especially if you are a high performer, high achiever. Because in this movie, this guy's massively successful, very similar to you while you're running on your treadmill, or maybe I saw people, you can even swim and listen to podcasts nowadays, which maybe you're swimming and listening to a podcast. If you are, please let me know. Hit me up on LinkedIn and let me know. Let me not digress. We'll get back. So Jay Kelly, played by George Clooney, was someone who was extremely successful, like so successful, like everywhere he went, he played an actor. Surprise, surprise. Jay Kelly is an actor played by George Clooney, and anywhere he went, people knew him. They're constantly asking for autographs, taking his picture, all of this kind of stuff. And so he's living this great life, like a lot of senior leaders at big multinational companies. Maybe people don't know your name, but you're living well. I know you're living well because that used to be me. He was an extremely wealthy, highly sought after superstar actor, which was great. And then the thing that you start to realize, because we get a look into his world, was even with all the accolades and all of the things that happened for him in his life, at the moment that the movie's taking place, we recognize that the thing that he wants the most, literally that he wants the most, is just to make the most of the time and get the attention of the people that are most important to him in his life. And that is his two children, his daughters. That's really all he wants throughout this entire movie. Because the thing is as we go through it, like we recognize that he had reached such a level of success. Like he'd reached the pinnacle of where he was supposed to be in his acting career, in terms of the accolades, in terms of the money that he was making, in terms of what else he could be doing. Also to the point that he was like, look, I don't want more of this. Because he'd really gotten to the point in his life, but it was at the end of his acting career, at the end of lots of the accolades, where he said, you know what, now I'm going to slow down. And that's why I want to take just a moment to say, depending on where you are in your career, if you're still in your early 30s, you're listening, you're watching, you're thinking about that side business, you're thinking about a lot of different things, this is also something for you to consider. Because he's on the tail end of that. He's well into his 60s in the movie, right? I think in real life too. But he decided it was time for him to slow down. But the thing is, it was clear that he had a difficult relationship with his father. These things, I'm sure, had an impact. But the reason that I'm sharing this with you is that it's never too late. However, the context of your life and the things that you are doing, and I love that you're here, that you're watching, that you're listening, because you're doing things differently. You're learning from the stories of others. And that's why I say this Jay Kelly, because it is a story, Jay Kelly, played by George Clooney, right? That you can learn from. That you can do the things that you need to do to be successful, to be a high achiever, high performer, because that's in your DNA. That's just what you do. And you can also learn from the quote unquote mistakes of others. That's where Jay Kelly, played by George Clooney, comes in. So he'd worked so much of his career in all of the accolades, all of the external things that he was looking for. He got all that. But then he got to a point in his life where he realized, you know what? I just want time with my daughters. That's the thing. And it became abundantly obvious during the movie, where he had invested so much of his time, effort, and energy was around and with people that always expected him to perform, always expected him to be on. And leaves you with the question of, was it because he was who he was, or is it because of the things that he was able to help them achieve as well? I don't want to give it all away. I want you to check out some of it. But he realized that, there was even a moment in the movie that daughters were like, yeah, he didn't want to be alone. He wanted to be with his daughters. And the daughter said, look, Dad, you're never alone. And he said, I am constantly, as somebody comes up to give him a drink. I thought it was nice and subtle. But the thing is, even when he made a plan to travel with the kid, to travel with his daughter, to go to Europe, which is exactly what he did, his daughter did not, at this point, want him to be there. Why? Because for all of the time that he could have been there in the past, he wasn't investing the time. He wasn't there. He was only focused on himself. I don't want that for you. I definitely don't want that for you. That's why I'm using an entire episode of today's podcast to share it with you, to share through a story of something that I was able to do, relaxing on my couch on a Sunday, just relaxing. I guess it could have been a Tuesday, but I decided Sunday. So through this entire thing, we go through, and you will go through, but you start to realize that the only person at the end of the day that was there for him was his agent, not his father, not his daughter, not even his arch nemesis, who's a part of the movie and has a very different life. And you see it graphically, physically. I won't share that. I want you to see the movie. Not for the George Clooney thing, it's for the moral of the story. Because yes, you can get all the money. Yes, you can get all the fame. Yes, you can get the wonderful luxury cars. You can get all of that stuff. But as I've mentioned to you before, all of that goes back anyway. All of that goes back. It stays with the machine. None of it's yours. But you know what is yours? The relationships, the way that you're investing your time, your effort, your energy. Are you going to be there every single time? You're a high achiever. Probably not. That's for people who look for balance. That's not you. The question is, are you looking for harmony? Talked about it before. It's just a reminder, don't let life pass you by getting caught up in trying to chase the things, because there are lots of people that are there for you, ready to pour into you, that are wanting and looking for your attention, those special moments, that special time. So make sure that you're keeping your head up, that you're there for family, for friends, for loved ones. You're going to feel better. They're going to love it. I promise that. And then learn from this particular movie. Required viewing. There you go. I knew I'd get it right by the end of the episode. So listen, if this is not you, if this is somebody who you know who is constantly just nose down, they're missing all the events because they're chasing the money, they're chasing the accolades, they're chasing the status. Share today's episode with them. Or maybe just sit on the sit on the couch. This is your way to be able to go and pick a movie that I'm pretty sure it's going to resonate. They're going to realize it. Anybody who's a senior leader who has been on planes, trains, and automobiles all the time, making a lot of money, you've got the status, you've got the role. Take a look at it. Learn from somebody else. Listen, everybody, I'm going to be right back here preparing for the next episode. Share, care, make sure you're going from theory to practice. And also, until then, make it a great day.